You answer every email, you hit every deadline, you show up early, you stay late, you carry things other people don't even notice. Everyone sees you as reliable, capable, strong, the person who's always had it handled. But the second you stop moving, the panic sets in. Your chest tightens, your thoughts race, you replay conversations, you plan problems that haven't even happened yet. And instead of resting, you reach for something to distract yourself. Work, noise, your phone, anything to avoid sitting with your own thoughts. If that sounds familiar, we need to talk. Because this isn't drive, it isn't ambition, and it isn't just stress. This is high functioning anxiety. Welcome to the Lead Well channel, where we explore the inner world of leadership, well-being, and what it means to succeed without breaking yourself in the process. My name's Trevor. I've run a multi-award-winning restaurant and cocktail bar for about 10 years, and for a long time I was the very definition of high functioning. On paper, everything looked good. The business was growing, people trusted me, I was seen as calm under pressure and dependable in chaos. But behind the scenes, I was struggling more than anyone knew. There were moments when I'd have to step outside around the back of the venue, stood behind parked cars, trying to get my breathing under control so no one could see. Panic attacks that came out of nowhere, my heart racing, my hands shaking, my thoughts telling me something terrible was about to happen, even when nothing actually was. This wasn't motivation. That wasn't resilience. That wasn't my nervous system stuck in survival mode. And if you're watching this thinking no one would ever guess how anxious I feel, you're exactly who this video is for. High functioning anxiety is one of the most misunderstood experiences because from the outside, it looks like success. People praise you, they rely on you, they assume that you've got it all together, and that makes it even harder to admit that inside you're drowning. So let's talk about the signs most people mistake for strength. Sign number 1, perfectionism as an armor. A lot of people describe themselves as perfectionists like it's a badge of honor. High standards, attention to detail, pride in their work. But when perfectionism is driven by anxiety, it isn't about excellence, it's about fear. Fear of being criticized, fear of being exposed, fear of letting people down, fear of not being enough. I used to check everything twice, sometimes 3 times, not because it needed it, but because I wouldn't relax until I'd convinced myself that nothing could go wrong. I'd replay conversations in my head, wondering if I'd said the wrong thing. I'd overthink decisions long after they were made, and the relief never lasted. Perfectionism doesn't bring peace, it brings temporary control. When your standards are rooted in anxiety, you're not chasing quality. You're trying to protect yourself from judgment, and that protection comes at a cost. Perfectionism isn't confidence, it's armor. Sign number 2, being busy as a coping mechanism. This one's huge. If you're always busy, always productive, always filling your time, it can look like discipline, like ambition, like drive. But for many people with high functioning anxiety, busyness is a coping strategy because being still feels unsafe. When things slow down, the thoughts get louder, the worries creep in, the body doesn't know how to relax. So you keep moving, you find another task, another email, another thing to fix it. I talked about this in a video a few weeks back when I got a bit of anxiety when I was on holiday. It was only about 3 days off, but with everything going on, just that rest of my brain, it just triggered something that allowed it to start overthinking, return to the old ways. So it can happen to anybody. I used to work to avoid being alone with my thoughts. The quieter things got, the worse I felt. Sitting on the sofa felt uncomfortable. Silence felt heavy, and rest didn't feel restorative. It felt threatening. So I'd stay busy. I'd convince myself that I was productive when really I was just running. If slowing down makes you anxious, that's not discipline, that's anxiety. And here's where I want you to pause for a moment. If you've recognized yourself in perfectionism or constant busyness, this is a good time to take my free business and wellness quiz. It will show you where your anxiety and energy are being drained and what needs attention first. You carry a lot and you deserve the tools and the support to carry it well. So let's keep going. Sign number 3, the inability to say no. This is often labeled as kindness, being helpful, being supportive, being a team player. But when you struggle to say no because you're scared of conflict, rejection, or disappointing people, that's not generosity, that's anxiety trying to keep you safe. I said yes to things I didn't have the capacity for. I took on more than I should have. I felt responsible for everyone else's emotions and outcomes. And every yes came with a quiet sense of dread. Over time, resentment started building, Not towards others, but towards myself, because I kept agreeing to things that I didn't want or I couldn't manage, and then I blamed myself for feeling overwhelmed. When saying no feels dangerous, anxiety is in control. Healthy boundaries don't come from not caring, they come from self-respect, and anxiety makes self-respect feel risky. Sign number 4, the overthinking loop. Overthinking is often mistaken for intelligence, for being thorough, for being thoughtful. But overthinking isn't clarity, it's a nervous system looking for safety. Replaying conversations, imagining worst case scenarios, planning responses to things that haven't happened, never feeling finished or settled. Your brain stays switched on because it doesn't believe it's safe to switch off. This is one of the most exhausting parts of high functioning anxiety. You might be physically resting, but mentally you're running marathons. Your body is on the sofa, but your mind is at work. And because it never stops, neither do you. Sign number 5, only relaxing when you're exhausted. This one is subtle but powerful. People with high functioning anxiety don't really relax, they collapse. They push themselves until there's nothing left, then stop because they have to, not because they choose to, not because they feel safe enough to rest. I didn't rest, I burnt out. And if your body only stops when it breaks, anxiety has been driving for a long time. At this point, some people think it's all in their head, that they should just think differently and be more positive, like toughen up. But this isn't a mindset problem, it's a physiological one. The physiological shift, system overload. High functioning anxiety isn't weakness, it's biology. When your nervous system is stuck in fight or flight, it stays alert even when there's no immediate danger. Stress hormones stay elevated. Your body can't tell the difference between a real threat and a demanding email. Sitting still feels unsafe because your system is primed for action. This is why high functioning anxiety so often leads to burnout. Burnout isn't about effort, it's system overload. And until you address that, no amount of productivity hacks will help. So let's talk about one thing that you can do right now. So this is an actionable relief. It's a 5-minute brain dump. I'm not going to tell you how to meditate or empty your mind or be present. Instead, just try this. Set a timer for just 5 minutes. Write down everything that's in your head. No structure, no fixing, no organizing, just get it out. The worries, the tasks, the fears, the reminders, the random thoughts. This isn't journaling, this is mental unloading. And by getting your thoughts out of your head and onto paper, you're signaling to your nervous system that it doesn't need to hold everything at once, that it's safe to let go, even briefly. Do it once, notice how you feel, and then decide if it's worth repeating. Now let's zoom out. High functioning anxiety doesn't mean you're broken. It means you've learned to survive by performing, by being useful, by being needed, by staying ahead of the problems. But survival mode isn't meant to be permanent. The goal isn't to stop caring, it's to stop living in constant threat response. For years, I thought anxiety was just a part of being driven, that it came with the responsibility, that it was the price of ambition. But it wasn't. It was my nervous system asking for safety. And the moment I started listening, everything began to change. Now, I'm not solved. I don't think you can be completely free of anxiety when you're an entrepreneur, but you can learn to control it in a way that makes it much more manageable. So if you're someone who likes to keep busy, to keep away the anxiety, drop me a comment and let's stop pretending that we're fine. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like and a subscribe. It helps me, it helps the channel, and it helps people like us find the content that really matters. And as always, I'd love to remind you that you matter too. Don't forget that.